today we're going to develop some film. We're going to develop black and white film, and it's some film I've had that need to be developed for a few months now. Just not getting around to it because I wanted to make sure that I filmed a video for doing it. So, in this, what we're going to be using, instead of the traditional chemicals like you would normally use for film developing, I have all the bottles, I have all the jars and things like that to do the traditional chemistry, but we're going to use a monobath. A monobath is just one bottle of chemistry that has everything in it already mixed up, ready for you to go, and all you got to do is pour it and follow the instructions and the directions. If you can bake, you can use monobath. So, besides the monobath, what do you need? Obviously your film. We got that already ready to go. And you're gonna need something called Patterson tanks. If you don't have any Patterson tanks, they're fairly inexpensive. You can pick them up at any camera shop, pick them up online. This one, the bigger one, holds 3 rolls of 35mm film or 2 rolls of 120 film. And this one is a smaller one, holds 2 rolls of 35 and 1 roll of 120. I prefer the plastic ones because it has the lip on there so you can feel exactly where it goes, and it's better for my hands. Now you can twist it, pull it out, like so, and now you have 120 film. So instead of, you can see the size difference there. So, and then that will drop in here, and then this is your lid that screws on. There's a hole there so you can pour your chemistry in, and then this little spindle is for you to turn your chemistry so you can agitate your film while the chemistry is going. I didn't open this one because I already have 3 rolls of film in here ready to go. All it needs is chemistry. We're gonna put some film in this one. I got 1 roll right somewhere, right here. I got 1 roll right here, and we are going to show you with this 1 roll how to prepare. So I got my film puller here. So basically it's 2 little lips. There's one here, and if you pull the second one here, see the second one moving like that? So there's 2 lips. First one goes in, you turn your film, and then you pull it out. So here we go. Film goes in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch over to the other camera so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So here's your film, right? You stick your pieces in. It's taking me a little longer because I'm looking at the camera as well. So once your film is in, right, you push the first tab in, right? And you turn your film till you hear a click. Right there. And you'll feel it. It'll feel like a lip of the film go by. And you push this one in, pull it, and there's your film. Right? So there's one other step to getting the film ready for the Patterson tank. The other step is to pull some of the film out and cut it. Right there. And some of them you can actually even trim the edges of the film, the corners of the film, so they're a little rounded so they don't get caught in the Patterson tank. Now, don't worry about pulling film out. Typically the first inch or so of the film is the film that you rolled in as you were setting your camera up. You know how you roll it and advance the film until you get to the number 1 or 0. That's typically that first part. So don't worry about that. That's all good to go. Now, the other thing that you can use, and it's optional, and it's something I have, is an agitator machine. Some people use these to like tumble rocks, but they also are for film. They're loud. But instead of you having to stand there and either turn the chemistry over and over again or sit and twist this thing over and over again, you just have this. So Once we get this on, we have to put this on the Patterson tank. We'll do that one later. So now we're ready to go. So what do we need to do? We're gonna pour some chemistry in. So as long as I can pull this middle part out and there's no issues, there's no light going in there because there's no light going in because the reels are actually on the tube and the tube is covering the light. As long as I don't untwist this middle part and open it, we should be fine. There's no light leak or anything like that. So that's where chemistry pours into. The other thing is, and this is going to be the disclaimer. Chemistry is only good, it expires, right? I bought this roughly a year ago. I'm not sure, give or take a few months, and I never opened it. Cinestill makes this chemistry and it tells you on the bottle that it's good for a year. So I'm gonna try it. And I'm gonna see if it's gonna work or not. Now, these are rolls of film that they're not necessarily that important. So I don't mind doing an experiment. You know, if something comes out, perfect. If nothing comes out, or if it's faint, fine, I can still work with it. It's nothing important. Make sure you have new chemistry on hand before you do any developing. Also, who is this for? It's for people who want to get into film developing, but they don't necessarily have the know-how, the experience, or necessarily even the room to store all this stuff, because realistically, it takes a lot of chemistry and a lot of other items like bottles. You need thermometers, you need racks, I mean, all kind of stuff to develop film. And if you don't have the space, Monobath is a great answer for that. And as far as hanging my film, over the years, I developed kind of a system. I keep some of these hangers on hand so I can clip the tops of my film and then use this one to clip the bottom so the film doesn't roll up. I mean, I have enough clips to do both, but I've always found this easier because I can just hang this on a shower rack or whatever and let it dry. I don't necessarily have to have a dedicated room just for my film. So, Monobath is easy to use. They tell you right on the label the instructions on using the chemistry. And so the instructions on the chemistry are based on temperature. So I tend to lean towards the 70-degree mark, which is about 6 minutes or more. And I do that because I like to have my film have a little bit more contrast to it. And once you run a few rolls through this chemistry, you'll figure it out. The other good thing is this chemistry is reusable. So you can use it, if I'm not mistaken, 6 or 7 times, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've done it, but you can reuse it. Now, the more you reuse it, the weaker the chemistry gets. So you have to adjust your times as far as chemistry goes. But once it gets to a point where it's not usable and you have to throw it out, then you just buy another bottle. If I'm not mistaken, like I said, it's been a year since I bought this, so I think it was around $23, something like that. It may have gone up since then, but it's a great tool to use. So all I'm gonna do is take this bottle, pour it into here, and we're gonna sit it on here and agitate, and we're gonna set a timer for 6 minutes. Move the stopper. Now I recommend, even if you're using this in the bathroom, put this agitator in the sink, because these tend to leak from the top when they're sideways, regardless. So yeah, I don't think that's been used. I'm gonna pour the chemistry in. And you just want to make sure there's enough to cover the reels in there. Okay, I'm gonna put your agitator in, and I normally just give a few quick turns and do that. Put your lid on, put it on your roller. Alexa, set a timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now.
So while that's going, you make yourself a sandwich, do some jumping jacks, have a drink, whatever, or you can go get your other rolls ready. And if you don't have a dark room to get your other rolls ready, because you definitely need a dark room to put your film on the reels. At that point, for the dark room, I use my spare bathroom and I stuff a rug up against the door so there's no light in there. Works perfectly fine. You can also use a closet with the same door. Works every time. So while that's doing that, I'm gonna go get this second roll ready. Be right back. So that's still going. I've put this in here. So it's ready to go. So once that's done, I'm gonna put this roll in there. Now, I will tell you to make sure you go to the Cinestill website to download the actual instructions, the full instructions, because each film technically has its own time limit of how you should do it. But I've been doing this long enough, so I just kind of know which films go together. So I just kind of throw them all in this at the same time. Now I only have one roll in this, but there's a 2-reel tank, right? So what I normally do is the reel with the film on it goes to the bottom. The empty reel goes on the top. That way I don't have to pour as much chemistry to cover the top. That's just a little hack there. Now, at one point I did have a full lab where I did color, black and white, ECN2, and slide film. I got rid of all that stuff because it was just taking up room and I wasn't using it anymore. But I did keep everything I needed to do black and white. And I kept as minimal as possible just so I could use black and white and specifically to do the Monobath. I don't need much. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take that long. But you do need a sink. You do need water. I typically use like a warm water to rinse the film once it's done, and you'll see that in the video. Once this is done, I'll pour the chemistry into the other bottle and start it going, and then I'll rinse this one, and then you'll see how it comes out. Again, this is old chemistry, so hopefully it works out. I'm going to leave it. I set a timer for 6 minutes. I'm going to leave it a little longer than 6 minutes and see how it works. Shouldn't be that much time left. And I know I said normally this thing will leak, but strangely enough, this time it's not leaking, so that's a good sign. So there's our timer going off. Alexa, stop. And I'm going to leave it in a little bit longer, and we'll see how that does. It doesn't hurt anything to leave it in longer. Because the fixing process happens quite early, so it's not going to hurt anything. But I would give it a little time just to make sure it's doing its thing. And we're going to get this one ready. And so we'll just pour that chemistry in there and get it doing the same thing. And then we'll get a little funnel. I don't remember where I got this from, but funnels are inexpensive, so you can pour it back in the bottle of the stuff that you're not using. And pull that out. Pull that out, and we're going to pour this in here. And that should be enough to cover that bottom. And then we'll pour the rest back into the bottle. And again, I said I'm going to leave it in there, so I'm not in a big rush to make sure that the chemistry doesn't do the film or anything like that. There we go. Alexa, set a timer for 6 minutes again.
6 minutes.
Alright, let's get some warm water going and we'll get this done. The smaller tank tends to not sit just as well, so you have to kind of watch it to make sure it doesn't slide off, but other than that, it's running pretty good. So we got some water going. And we'll just rinse our film. Now the film is rinsing, and to me, this is the fun part. Is pulling it out of the tank to see that you actually got something. Even when you have heartbreak, it's like, oh crap, that didn't come out. You just have this feeling of that you did something, or you know what not to do. So I'm gonna pour. I normally rinse it 2 or 3 times, just to. I rinse it the first time with the tank on, and then the other one I just kind of fill it up and let it rinse. Now, with old or expired or really old film, you may have black flakes come off, and that's the actual emulsion. It comes off in clumps sometimes, so don't be too worried if you see that, but just know that you may either lose some frames or something might be kind of faint. But you know, if you see black clumps, that's typically what that is. We'll take it out, we'll run the water through it. And we got 3 rolls of film developed. And we got 3 rolls of film. So let's see if there's actually anything on these, or if the chemistry is too old. So you'll pull your a squeegee helps, but I'm old school, so I just take my fingers and look at that. We got images. Yeah, boy. I don't even remember what this is from. Oh, this is from the last club walk at the airfield. That's awesome. So that's your dead end, and this is the end, how it looks when it's attached to the film, to the canister. So that's where you clip your bottom. This is where I clip my top. I normally fold it over a few times so it'll have something to hold on to. There's one, and then I clip at the bottom, like so. Now, when your emulsion is wet, it is soft. So be careful with it. This is the greatest time when you can scratch your film. So let me hang this up, and then we'll, actually I have a door here, I'll just hang it up here. No. I'm gonna hang it over here. So that was that. So I got 3 more rolls to do. 2 more rolls, well 3 more, but I got 1 in there. If you decide to go the route with the squeegee, make sure your squeegee is wet when you're doing this, or damp. Don't use a dry squeegee, you will scratch your film. So that rolls upside down, so let me turn it right side up. What is this? That is also from the air shop, from the last meetup. So that's cool. Like I said, it's been a few months since I shot these, so I didn't know what was on them. I didn't remember. That's also the fun part about developing film, is seeing stuff that you shot and not knowing what it is. And then just put this down as a weight, because if you leave this no weight on the end of the roll, it'll roll up, and that'll make it harder for you to scan. Alright, so we got 1 up, and we're gonna let that dry. So like I said, if your film if you're taking a minute to, take your film off and it's taking you a little longer, all you gotta do is, Alexa, stop. All you gotta do is run your reel back through the water. Once it's developed, the water is not gonna hurt anything. It's not light sensitive anymore. It's ready to go. I have no idea what this is. Now we got something to look at. I don't know what it is, but what is that? I don't know. Let's put this on. That up there. Let that hang. Alright, that one's been in there for a little longer. Just pour that back in the can, in the bottle. Get that button rinse. Put the stopper back, get our chemistry going back in the bottle. That's good to go. This thing saves a lot of time because you don't have to stand there and just back and forth with your shoulder. You won't kill yourself. While this is rinsing, I realized that I didn't actually show you the reels and how your film goes on there. I don't have a test roll, but I can show you from this. So on this particular reel, you'll see the ball bearings in there. Let's see, let me get it to focus. You see the ball bearings in there, right? It has a lip, a bigger lip. That's what you slide your film into. And once you slide your film in, you just work it back and forth. And while you're alternating back and forth, you just grab your film on each side. So it's like, grab film here, push, grab film here, push. Push, 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 push. And then you'll feel the end of the film. And once you're into the film, I don't let the end of the film pass through here just so chemistry gets under there. But other than that, and then when you get ready to take your roll off, you twist it, it'll unlock like so, pull it apart. And then same if you wanted to make it 120 instead of, so right now it's in 35, 120 is here, and you just pull out to there. Now you're at 120. I always rinse my reels off as well, just so the next time there's not any old chemistry on there. When you get the old chemistry, it turns brown and gets crusty, and you don't want any of that on your film. It'll ruin your film. So that tank is good to go. It's clean and ready to get put back. 1, 2, and 3. And that's ready to go. And I put that in there. And I'll leave these out for a few days, let them dry. Nothing to it. Oh, I put the agitator back in there. Clean up your mess. And let's see what we got here. Now this roll should, so a piece of plastic just came out, so something broke, but it's small, so it shouldn't be a big deal, whatever it was. So this roll should actually be from Wings Over Houston Air Show, and I need to investigate what broke, so that's not good. None of the main parts, so it must be something down here in the bottom. As long as it didn't crack and it still holds water, so that means no light is getting in. Whatever. Anyway, so this should be the Wings Over Houston Air Show. That's this one. So let's see what we got. That film looks faint, but that's going to be pretty good. Nice high contrast. And that particular film is high in contrast. It's the Pan F by Ilford. So it's really contrasty, so that's perfect. And this is in fact from the air show. So let's hang this one up. And put our clip on the end. Put our clip on the end. And there, we're good to go. I normally will give these a couple hours to dry or just to hang, and then eventually I'll get around to scanning them. I scan with a V600, but you can scan with a V600. You can scan with your camera as long as you have a light table to shine through, which I do have a light table. But once you're done, you just kind of sit back and let it do its thing, let it dry, and that's it. So once they're scanned, I'll do another video to show you the results of them. But I just wanted to show you guys how easy it is to develop film in your own home. And it's been less than, 30 minutes, 40 minutes maybe. And most of that just me talking and showing you what to do. But I mean, if you want to start developing your own film, black and white is a good way to go. This Monobath is a great way to go. It's a great tool to do it. And, you know, who knows, that could be a gateway into you going and doing your own film, especially with the film prices and the developing prices. And, you know, if you try it, let me know the results. You know, comment, reach out to me, tell me how you did. And can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time.